Keep on doing what you do, doing what you do. Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, what you do, doing what you do.
Alright, hi guys, it's Janscrazylife. So I know in the live we showed how to cover, I'm doing a book swap. If you guys want to join, go check it out. I did a video where I showed how to rip out the pages. Just keep in mind every book is different, everything is different. You just want to have 2 of the double glue plate. 17 is a good number. Alright, so this is the fabric I'm going to use on, and I have all kinds of fabric, but I think this is the fabric I'm going to use on the next one. I really like this and I think it's so cute. So, how I'm going to cover this is, and I showed this in another video, but I'm going to do this really quick. Since my fabric has to go a certain way, I'm going to make sure that when I cut it, it is cut. So you don't need a bunch of bulk, extra bulk, because we're going to just kind of glue it down a little bit. But if you notice, I'm kind of going, which you probably can't see. Let me get rid of the extra so you can see. I'm going to cut both sides of the fabric. So you know there's 2 sides, right? So there's this one and that one. I'm going to cut both because we need to make pockets on the inside, okay? And so I'm just making sure I have about a 1/2 inch all the way around the book, and then that is where I'm going to cut my fabric at. So about a 1/2 inch is good. You don't really need more than that. And let me start my cut. Alright, let me move the book out of the way. And I'm just going to make these 2 cuts meet each other, which are right about there. Perfect. So let me move this out of the way. So, for my cover, and since we're gluing this down, you really don't have to iron it. You can iron your fabric if you want to, but you don't necessarily have to. And I am just going to take my fabric and I'm opening the book up and laying it flat, right? So this is the, and I guess it doesn't really matter. This is the front of my book and the back. I'm going to decide how I want. So let me see which one I want to. I like that this has Halloween, but either way it's going to be, alright, this one will work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and only put glue on the spine to start with. You don't have to use art glitter glue. I recommend not using hot glue because hot glue will cause the fabric to get really hard and not, it'll change the texture of the fabric, right? So I'm just making sure to glue just the spine to start with and lining my fabric back up. And and make sure you have, since this is a dark fabric, you want to make sure you have glue that dries clear. So this glue will dry clear, even though you can see it coming through. It will dry clear in the end, right? So let me get my bone folder. I just want to make sure all my fabric is glued on there really well. So next up, I'm going to do one side at a time. I am just putting glue down in this crevice of where the book is open, and you're going to see me hold the book in a second. So now we're just putting your fabric in the crevice, and we're going to close the book and make sure we get that fabric so the book will close and it works out just fine. Alright, so now we'll do the cover. And if your glue doesn't dry as fast as our glitter glue, you might want to give it a chance to dry before, you know, the next step or moving on. Alright, so I am doing this, and I'm just going to do this all at one time. You could do a little bit at a time, but I'm just going to make sure I get my edges really well is the important thing. Alright, so now I'm just going to rub my fabric all around the book. Make sure it's all on there really good. And voila. And then we're going to do the other side. So make sure to get really well in this spot. And rub it out. And then now I'm going to do the cover. So I'm making sure to get my edges really well. And you don't have to do this with fabric. I'm just showing how to do it with fabric. You can do it with paper. There is a lot of tutorials on altered book and people use paper. I just think it's really cute with fabric, and it actually adds a lot more, makes the book a lot more stable, if that makes sense. So, and y'all know me, I love adding sewing and fabric to everything that I possibly can. So, it's funny, I consider myself a paper crafter, but I use a lot of fabric and sewing. But that's where my background is, sewing. Alright, so now that we have that glued, we're going to miter our corners. What did I do with my scissors? Here they go. Alright, so I don't have a lot on this side, which is fine. So I'm only going to do a little bitty bit right there. And then on this side, I gotta make my husband fix this because it's like the thing has sunk down and it's showing less of what I need it to show. Alright, so I'm just taking off the bulk from the corners, and if you look, you just kind of, but you don't cut too close to it, right? And then on this one. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to open up our little book, and right here, if you guys can see, I am going to cut right where it folds, right? So you can even hold your book like this. I am going to cut this fabric right there where, sorry, this is its own little piece. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with this side. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is, and if you have any like extra bulk right here at this little spot, I'm just going to kind of make sure that the fabric is going to come up on my book. So I am going to take my glue, I'm going to get it really good in that edge, and then I am going to just glue this inside the book. Let me cut off this bulk right here. There's a little more bulk than I want. Alright. And so you just glue this down, and then they have book corners, but I want to show you something. I literally cut more fabric off this edge than I need to, so what I'm doing is I'm just taking this little extra piece of fabric and gluing it right on that corner. And so I am going to put some glue on this side and glue this side down, and that way you don't see the yellow, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. See how I kind of fixed it and you don't see anything? So like, just kind of troubleshoot. It's not going to be perfect. It doesn't always have to be. And let me cut off some of this bulk right here. And now we're going to glue this side down. And there we go. Alright, so I had this little piece that was too bulky, so I'm just gonna put some glue on it and just rub it right over here. Put it in that little crevice. Perfect. So now we're gonna do the same thing over here. And I'm gonna cut this little bulky part off a little bit there, because I think I have the same problem over here. Let me see. We're gonna see the yellow a little bit. Yeah, so I'm just gonna take this extra piece of fabric and just glue that right there on the corner. And then put this here. Alright, perfect. And let me take this bulky little piece and glue this down. I cut. Alright, so now, sorry guys, y'all probably can't see what I'm doing. Alright, so now I'm just gonna add glue to here and get this all laid down. And then same thing here. We're going to add glue, lay it down. Alright, so when you come to this part, if your book doesn't have a hole in it, right? Mine does. Either way, you're going to want to cut this down. So you want to cut this down about 1/4 inch, right? And then on this side. But if it doesn't have it, you want to kind of cut it just about that size. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and I show how to do all this on that live feed, probably a little better for you guys to see, because people were actually asking questions. So basically I'm just going to take glue and I'm going to stick it in the hole, right? So there's a hole right here. Push it up, stick that fabric in there, rub it down. And I'm just going to put a little glue on this. And there we go. And then on this side, I'm going to add all of my glue onto everything. And open my hole, stick my fabric in the hole. Get in there. Sorry. And rub it down. And then there we go. So there is the cover fabric on there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cover the inside, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all these pages that I just ripped out of the book. I'm going to get a paper trimmer, is one thing. I'm going to grab some cardstock. And I think with this one, I mean, you could actually, I'm going to use some black cardstock because I just want to show y'all something. Alright, let me grab some black cardstock. And then, last but not least, I need a ruler. Alright, so first let's measure what we need. And I'm going to get my fancy pad so I know. Alright, so let's measure what we need. Both are going to be exactly the same. So we're at 8.5 exactly is my measurement. So what I recommend, and it's actually a little more than that, so we're going to do 8.5. And when you measure this part, you want your book to be like this. You don't want to measure from here to here. You want to measure from this lift. So 8.5 by, and 5.5 is a little, 5.5. So I need to cut 2 8.5 by 5.5. So I know that this is already 8.5. So I need to cut 2 5.5s. Now, if you didn't want to put fabric in there, you would use paper, right? So with me, like say I wanted to do paper, you would kind of glue this down. But if you notice, I'm gonna take just a tiny bit off, so that way it's kind of bezeled in and it's not exactly the same size off of, so I mean like a sliver. So I am literally taking a sliver off. So when I put off of the height, so when I put this down, it kind of goes in, right? But I don't want to take anything off of my sides because it fits. So if you were using paper, you would just glue this down and then that would be your inside. But I'm going to put fabric on these. So this is how you would do if you were going to put fabric. So remember we had that other piece, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just going to kind of make sure I get my edges really well. I'm going to glue this down. And I hope that you guys join this swap. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to be doing it for Christmas, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't delay making these books. They're very time consuming and take a long time, and then they have to be mailed because I'm not going to have any exceptions about late senders because I want everyone to have these books before October. So all the videos out of the way and everything before October, but it's going to be fun. And if you guys have any questions that I'm not answering, put it in the comment, or you want to check out those live videos because there was a lot of questions and we were answering them from learning. Okay, so now I have my 2 pieces of paper on here. I'm going to cut down the middle to separate, and then one at a time I'm going to miter, 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 and I was going to write it down, but I really didn't need to, I guess. Alright, miter, okay, so now I am just gonna glue these down just like we did the cover. So we'll glue this down. Glue, and then you'll basically have your covers. Alright, so I'm not going to painstakingly make y'all watch me do the other one because you just watched me do this. Plus I'm going to do some sewing around it. You don't have to do some sewing, but of course I'm going to. And then I will be back when they're both done and show you how we're going to glue this down. Because see. Alright, I'm back. So I just sewed my favorite stitch around. And so all I'm going to do is just glue this on down to my inside pocket. And then I'll even make another one of these and cut it down the size and make a pocket. Like, let me show you on this one. So that's another idea. The exact same way I just made these, I will make another one and then there's your little pocket, and then back here I did a double pocket, but it's just the same fabric, same method, and then you have a pocket. So let me put some glue on this, and let me put some glue. Hey, Rob. Oh, guys, sorry. That my husband and that dog barking at for no reason. All right. So, okay, I got glue. Make sure I got the edges really well. I'm gonna kind of center it, get it all the way to the edge. All the way to the edge. And then I'm gonna make sure to rub this down really well, so there's no lifting up. It's actually part of it. And then I'll hold it straight and glue this down. So there is my inside pocket, my inside cover, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this. So don't forget to check out the video of I showed how to rip out the pages, and don't forget to sign up if you guys are interested. Remember, you have over a month to get it done and to mail it in. I would recommend you guys mailing it in the beginning of September, first part of September, just so it gets to me in time and everything's good, because I want to make sure everyone has these before October. So that's why we're kind of pushing it. If you guys have any questions about anything at all, let me know. I know that the ladies are already starting to find Halloween stuff at Dollar Tree, Walmart, like stickers and like decorating stuff. I got my fabric at Joann's. If you don't have a Joann's by you, you could always order Halloween fabric on Walmart.com and have it shipped to the store for free. So that's something that you guys could keep in mind about. I've done that personally myself. If you don't want to go pick it up at a Walmart, you can always have it shipped to your home too. That's another option. So I am just rubbing this on out and getting it. Make sure I put it in the right way. Did I? Nope. And then I didn't. I have to lift it up. Lift it up, Jan. You don't have a lot of time. I put it on upside down. Yeah, so don't make sure you don't do that. And if you do, catch it really quickly. So let me re-glue. Okay. Sorry, my hand is hurting. Alright, so get some glue in the center. Alright, so now let's make sure it goes this way. Alright, to get it on correctly this time. Alright, so now again, I'm just going to rub it out. Line it up, rub. And there we go, guys. So we have our Halloween altered book cover and the insides. So adorable. I hope that you guys like this, and again, subscribe if you haven't already, because the best is yet to come. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.